All right, so the Australian Open has come and gone, and congratulations to both the winners. But I'm here to judge not tennis, but the way that folks looked on the court and the choices they made on the court. And to start with, we're going to start with the bad, or the good, the bad, and the ugly. I think it's probably best to start talking about the bad, and then we can talk about the good later. And ugly and the bad, I just grouped them together. Sorry. So we'll get started with the bad. So the first bit I want to talk about is gradient. So it's A6 and on running. It seems to be mostly. So you got Iga, you got Ben Shelton, you got Diminoir, Ben Shelton, and then Lacoste is doing it a little bit, and so you got Medvedev too. And I'm not sure what it is with gradient, but it's just not cool. It's like not even close to cool. Like there's nothing about this. You look at like any of the yellow on Ben Sheldon's on running gradient, and you compare it to the yellow in this Nike thing, which is just like a much prettier yellow. I just don't understand what they're going for with the gradient. It's not cool. And if these are, I don't know if it's a design thing. Like, does Ben Sheldon only have this option? Because he was doing it last year. He had like the bomb pop looking one last year during the U.S. Open. So I don't know if he actually likes it. Because I know Iga, I think at last year's U.S. Open was not wearing anything like this. Yeah, it turns out she was wearing something like this.
Particular matchup, Jess really enjoys running onto the open stance
God,
forehand
it's
and
ugly. So I don't know if it's like a choice the players are making to choose gradient, and then or if it's like on running, it's like you have to wear a gradient. In either way, it's just like bad. So I would hope that they stop. A6, I don't know. Diminoir, I like him. Like honestly, the fit of the clothes, it's pretty cool. He chose good sizing. Looks like he chose size large shorts and a large shirt, and he's kind of a small guy. So he made good choices in the sizing, but like the outfit itself is a little bit disgusting, no offense. So gradient's bad this year at the Australian Open. It's like really bad. And then we have this, I don't understand. We'll get into Novak a little bit more, but I don't understand why they decided to put like the tennis court lines on his shirt. It just makes no sense to me, and the cost rarely makes sense to me. Even they have someone as cool as Medvedev, and they still don't look cool. Ever, I've never seen like a cool Lacoste thing. Even like their inoffensive stuff is ugly. And so with Novak, as you can see, is this disgusting tennis court line. But the more important thing here, and the reason I have Novak and Zverev in the same slide, is that they both seem to want to wear size mediums, and they're like big guys. Like Novak is 6'2", Zverev's like 6'5". And they're quite muscular, and I just don't understand the draw to wear like a size medium shirt if you're this big. Like, we know you're buff. I mean, you're a professional athlete. We've all seen you shirtless, like intentionally or unintentionally, because he takes his shirt off after the match. And there's something about like a guy that's in good shape wearing clothes that are this small that is just like silly, and maybe it's like a lack of confidence thing, in which case I should be sympathetic and I apologize. But I just think it looks really dumb. Like, look how big his legs are. Go a size up in shorts, go a size up in shirt, or 2 sizes up in shirt. And then it's just like cool, and it flows against you. And we'll talk about this later when we get into like Ben Sheldon, or not Ben Sheldon. Ben Sheldon's fits fine, maybe it's a little tight. But wearing clothes these tight is just not cool. Novak is obviously a pretty big sinner in this case. Like, he always wears too tight clothes. I don't get why Zverev does it, because Zverev comes off as like trying to be a little bit steezy because he wears like the chains. So I'm not sure why he's wearing size medium. Maybe he's like 35, 36. I'm not sure. But then you also have, I think, potentially the worst outfit of the whole thing is Taylor Frick's. It's just the Hugo Boss. The lavender, Larson said he liked the lavender. But I can't say I like the outfit at all. You have the nice Motorola sponsorship. Chipotle, you have this line here. It just looks like it costs $3 to make, and he's out there playing in it, and he's wearing like a size down. Same thing. He's like 6'4", kind of a big dude. He should wear like an XL. He'd look kind of steezy. Get rid of the headband, shave his head, do like a David Beckham thing from the early 2000s, and Taylor Fricks could look awesome. And get rid of the orange racket too, I think. Yeah, Taylor Fricks was probably near the bottom of this whole thing. His shorts are a little bit tight, and I have a feeling Hugo Boss isn't helping him here. They seem like kind of the same type of clothing brand that a guy who wears those shirts that like intentionally buff up the chest and like hide the gut. I don't know what you call those shirts, but Hugo Boss seems to be catering to the same audience, like these sort of dorky once a week haircut type guys. So I think that's potentially like they're not helping Taylor Fricks out here. But yes, this is a terrible three lineup. Zverev wears too tight of clothes. The colors are bad. Novak's shirt's just probably one of the worst shirts of all time. I do like the collar though. To be fair, I kind of like the preppy side of tennis. And yeah, it's way too tight. Which we can transition from the bad into talking about the fit of the clothing. And so we're going to start with Tien, who is also, and maybe it's an Adidas thing, but it doesn't seem like it's an Adidas thing because like Adidas makes some cool stuff, and I'll talk about it later. But like the fit doesn't have to be this bad. So if I'm Tien, you're 19, you have a cool game, you just beat Medvedev, you should like level up your swag and get like a XL shirt, maybe large like flowy shorts, and wear not the same color. The hat's cool. Keep wearing the hat. But in general, I think switch it up. Get a size bigger. You got big legs. They're cool. Go up 2 sizes in shirt. It's gonna fit a lot better. It's just gonna be like a more interesting outfit, and you'll probably look pretty steezy. Does he have a chain on? Yeah, he's got a chain on. Like let the chain flow. It's gonna fall out anyways. Yeah. So Tien has a lot of potential. He's kind of got a caboose, big body. I say level. Go up a couple sizes in clothing. You can look a lot more swag, and for the long run too, because you're 19, so you got plenty of time. And this is like the perfect image. You have Zverev over here, who's also wearing Adidas, way too tight. It's like a size medium, and it just fits him very unflatteringly. And you got Tommy Paul, who looks like a steez lord, and he's got loose New Balance shorts on, definitely XL. Maybe it's a double XL top. He's only like 5'11" too. So the fact that he's wearing clothes that big proves he has some understanding of what's cool nowadays, wearing oversized clothes. So yeah, if I'm Tien, I want to take notes from Tommy Paul. I don't want to look like Zverev. You shouldn't want to look like Zverev. I mean, he's like a fairly handsome guy, but he's making a lot of bad choices recently in clothing. Actually, he does look cool when he wears the sleeveless stuff. I kind of like that. And then with like sleeveless stuff, you have more room for tighter shirts because you're already there, like having your guns exposed and whatnot. And then this brings us to the white Nike crew. So Rune wears too tight of shirts, and then you have Jack Draper, who wears like an XL, and then you also have Denis Shapovalov, who wears like an XL. And if we watch them, let's zoom. If we watch them while they play, so you can see Rune here. His shirt's way too tight. You can see the whole outline of his body. He should go size up. And you compare it to someone like Jack Draper, it's like falling off his body, and it's hinting at like suggested muscles, which is just way cooler in terms of fit. Let's see if we have anything in the clip. No, he's just looking steezy. Look, it doesn't cling to his body, and then you compare that to Rune. It's like clinging to his body. There's no Yannick too. And then Shapovalov, this is a pretty good clip, like that shows what it looks like when like the shirt flows around the body, which is just way cooler than it being tight. It's just so flowy. Look at this. Flows all over the body. Plenty of room. Very cool. Yeah. So that's all fit, which brings us to the good, which is mostly fit and good choice, and then a little bit of Nike. So we have Carlos. This is cool. It's just like, I think specifically the fit's nice, right? Carlos tends to make good choices, or maybe it's just the way like his body fits clothes. But what I really like is the colors Nike chose, and then also like the curve on the shirt is cool. It reminds me of these NTS shirts that Danny showed me. And this is my point with like Adidas doesn't seem to make only like shitty fitty clothing. Like they seem to be able to make stuff that fits cool here. And maybe it's because they teamed up with NTS, or maybe it's like the originals or whatever. But like this fit of a shirt would be sick on Tien. Like imagine Tien in this outfit. Yeah, he would look really, really steezy. Point being, they have kind of like these cool curves. And I like that in Carlos's outfit, like the curves. And I think a lot of the Nike shirts had this, but I just think it's cool. And the colors, also nice. And then Sinners is also good. I just like the yellow. I also like that he chose the preppy collar. And then you have like an awful outfit in the background there. Yeah, he just kind of looks like a country club kid, which is funny. And it's a nice yellow. I wish more people were wearing yellow. I think Navarro was also wearing yellow, which actually brings me to the Nike dress. Oops. So basically, I think like this Nike dress is really cool, and it capitalizes on like the whole Y2K thing in like a creative way, not like in a bitey way. So it's like the layering of clothing or whatever, right? So wearing smaller clothing outside of whatever, like your normal clothing, and it's like kind of Y2K, as you can see from this Jake the Teenage Dragon clip. You got the friends all wearing sort of like the layered clothing, and that's what this Nike dress reminds me of. It's just sort of like that layering from the Y2K era. It's just cool. It's original. It's like interesting, not the same as what everybody else was wearing. So that was good. And then what do we have? Oh yeah, the Steez Lord. This was the outfit of the tournament, I think. You have the dark green, cool color, close to the color that Carlos was wearing. And then you got the XL shirt, fairly large pants. You got cream colored shoes. And just Tommy Paul knows what he's doing. He's by far the coolest dressed player on tour this time around, probably for the future as well. Also, the fact that you can see the sweat stains go into like a horn shape on his head. Very cool. Yeah, so by far Tommy Paul was the steeziest. Lamest was, Novak Djokovic. Not a huge surprise there, but he's not really playing for style points. That's more Tommy Paul's alley.